Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here coming at you with another trail tip, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Wiggy sleeping bags that I purchased for my get home bags. Now the story of this bag is I wanted a sleeping bag that would keep me alive in down to 20 degree Fahrenheit weather. The reason being is when I go camping or backpacking, I have a choice when I go. And if the weather's going to be too cold, I just forego it. However, I purchased these, I actually got two of them for my get home bags because I have two vehicles, two get home bags, so I need two sleeping bags. I set 20 degrees as my lower limit. The reason being, it rarely gets down below 20 degrees where I live, but it does on occasion. So I thought I'm just playing the odds. I thought if I go with a 20 degree bag, I will be pretty much covered. If it gets colder than that, I will probably find some other method of finding shelter for the night. So I set my goal of 20 degrees. And when I was doing my research, I thought I would get one of the standard manufacturers. I thought I would get an MSR or a Sea Summit or a Marmot or something like that. However, when I came across the name Wiggy's and started to do some research, I found out that there was a lot of advocates for this quality of bag. A lot of people were swearing by them. Yes, there's a few detractors. But I got to tell you, the guy that started this company and the current owner, and I'll be honest, I've never met the guy, I've never talked to him, I've never visited the factory, I just go by what I found on the internet, is if you can start a company, a manufacturing company of any product and keep, I don't know, 15, 20, 25, 30 people employed full-time and not advertise. You will not see a Wiggy's advertisement in Outdoor Magazine or any of the other magazines. You won't see a commercial on TV. You won't even probably see, I've never seen an internet ad. However, they do all their marketing is word of mouth. People go out of their way to visit either the factory in Grand Junction, Colorado, or to go to the store in Anchorage, Alaska. You cannot go into a Cabela's or a Bass Pro or Dick's Sporting Good or an REI and lay your hands on a Wiggy sleeping bag. They don't sell them through the retailers. You either have to go to the factory in Colorado, go to the store in Alaska, or order them online, or just call them up on the phone, which is what I did. Because I had a few questions when I ordered them, so I just called up, they answer my question, bam, let's order them. But anybody who does that, who puts their name on the company, puts their name on the product, and put their face out there, they're going to attract people who dislike him. There are people who say he's a charlatan, he's a scam artist, he's just a huckster, a shyster. You're going to find that in any business. But I got to tell you, anybody who produces a product that everybody swears by, just about everybody will swear by the quality of these bags. And I'm one of them now. I'm a convert. So anybody who does that has got to be doing something right. So to the people who say he's a shyster and a huckster and a scam artist, well, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But I think you're overpowered by all the people who will swear by these bags. So let's get started with the details on this bag. Now, it's my understanding that Wiggy's does not maintain a huge inventory of completed bags because they make them right there in the factory in Grand Junction, Colorado. Now, maybe some of the materials are manufactured offshore, but I got to give a big thumbs up to a company that keeps this manufacturing process right here in the United States. But my understanding is they don't maintain a huge inventory because basically you can order these with several options. I had the option of a left or right hand zipper. I have the option of two different lengths and two different widths. I had the option of two different materials. I also had an option for the foot box. So by having all these options, they can't just go make a bunch of them and then find out that this particular one doesn't sell well and they're stuck with them. Now, they probably maintain a certain stock for shipment to their store in Alaska because there'd be no reason to have a store in Alaska with no stock. But they probably will only stock the popular items. If you want something strange or different or weird that isn't very common, they probably aren't going to have a stock. And when I ordered mine, I had heard that it took anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the time of year, to get your sleeping bag, because when you order it, they have to make it and ship it to you. And so your name goes to the bottom of the list and you have to wait until you work your way to the top. However, I ordered mine in the middle of December, and in 6 days I had it in my hands. And I swear to God, the box was about 3.5 foot square and maybe a foot thick. So it was a huge box. Because you can see, this is a very large bag. This is literally military grade, because I think Wiggy's does have a contract with the U.S. government to make these for our troops. So that tells you something about the quality if you can maintain a government contract like that. Now, this is a very heavy bag. As you can see here by this picture, compared to my Marmot Trestles 30, it is a much larger bag, but it still comes down pretty small when you get the right compression sack, and I'll get to the compression sack later. Now, my understanding is the manufacturer of this material had a bunch of it left over and was basically trying to get rid of it because the military had changed all their designs for their camouflage, and they had two different styles available. Wiggy's looked at it, found it suitable, bought all of it. And so when this material is gone, there is no more. And that's probably why I was able to get this sleeping bag for only $130. I purchased the 0 degrees because it was only like 12 ounces more than the 20 degrees, and I thought I would be willing to carry that extra weight if I could get a bag that would get me down to 0 degrees. Even though 20 degrees was my theoretical floor, I'm going to try to go with a heavier bag and get a 0 degree bag. I have tested this bag down to 18 degrees and I was more than comfortable. More on that later on. I did have a choice at the time for my choice of the camo pattern. However, since I've ordered it, Wiggy's has put the Coyote Brown in with this sale. So you can get this in a plain brown. Personally, I would have preferred that, but it was not an option at the time. So I just I thought this is a get home bag. I'm probably only going to really use it once in my life for an emergency. The rest of the time is just going to be testing. So color really didn't matter. So I just went with the ACU camouflage pattern because it's going to be in a tent. Who's going to see it? I would have preferred the camo I would have preferred the Coyote Brown, but it wasn't an option at the time, but they've added it. So that's what I did is I ordered a 0 degree bag. I'm paying the weight penalty because it will keep me comfortable down to the 20 degrees that I was going to be my theoretical limit, but it has kept me comfortable at 18 degrees. When I was looking at my research, I was looking at one of the military sleep systems, and they were very expensive. Even for good quality used ones were high priced. And I looked at this and it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer, $130 for this. But when I did actually get my hands on an actual used military sleep system, I couldn't see any difference between it and this, which I had already purchased at that point. I found it at a pawn shop. It was $280. It did come with the overcoat, the outer layer to really reduce it, but it was just too big and too bulky. Yes, this is bigger and bulkier than your traditional MSR or your Sea Summit or your Marmot sleeping bags, but the quality is more than definitely worth it. Now, when you buy a bag like this, you will get two items. You will get a pillow and a stuff sack. The pillow, it's a nice pillow. There's nothing really wrong with the pillow. The only problem I have is it doesn't compress. It's not really a backpacking pillow. This is really more suited for car camping or something like that. It doesn't compress, so you really can't get it down to a manageable size to go backpacking or hiking with. The other item you'll get is a stuff sack. You'll notice this is a stuff sack and not a compression bag. I have two problems with this. First off, it's not a compression bag. Second off, this is woefully undersized for this bag. This is such slick material, and this is such slick material that by the time I get half of this sleeping bag stuffed into this sack, I have to start pushing and pushing and pushing. And as I reach to grab the next handful to push down in there, it pushes right back out. And it is a workout to get this bag into this sack. Now, Wiggy's does make a compression bag. I'm going to assume that it is this size. This measures 25 by 16, and if I did the math right, that works out to about 33 liters, which, like I say, is woefully undersized for this bag. Maybe a smaller bag with less insulation, maybe the 20 degree bag or a 30 or 40 degree bag would fit easily into this. But I got the 0 degree bag in the extra wide. I got the wider model. I didn't get a longer model. I didn't think I needed a longer model. And it is a struggle to get in here. So what I did is I went out and I purchased a couple of military surplus 9-strap compression bags. And if you look at them, you can see it is the same size. And it is, since this isn't as slick of a material, it is a breeze to put this bag into this sack. And it is a 9-strap compression bag. So Wiggy say that you can store your sleeping bag in this stuff sack. So given that this is the same size, my plan is to store the sleeping bag in this compression sack, but uncompress it, and only compress it if I need to hook it onto my backpack and hit the trail. So they are stored in both vehicles in this sack, uncompressed. Wiggy's does not only offer this in 2 temperature ratings, as well as the width options, the length options, and the footbox options, as well as the material options. They also offer what they call the FTRSS, which stands for Flexible Temperature Range Sleep System. It's basically a second sleeping bag, a lot like your military sleep systems, that you put around this bag, and basically you have 2 sleeping bags. That's basically what it works out to be, is a sleeping bag within a sleeping bag. It does lower the bottom end temperature rating of the bag, but because of the expense and the weight and the bulk that would add to my system, I opted not to, because I figured a 0-degree temperature bag is more than enough to cover my bases in an emergency should I need to deploy this. There are a lot of common features between this and the military sleep system because Wiggy's does make them for the military. It does have a hooded end, so you can put this over your head. There is a drawstring on it, so you can pull that tight. The zipper is a huge zipper. This is not the same kind of zipper that you're going to find in your traditional store-bought sleeping bags. This thing is heavy duty. You can see that it is monster compared to my Marmot trestles. Another big feature is this draft tube. This draft tube measures about 3 inches by 1.5 inches thick. So that is a huge draft tube, and I can actually feel that when I'm putting it into the stuff sack and the compression bag. I can feel that. Now I have to admit, I've only used this sleeping bag 4 times in actual conditions. I ordered it in December and I was hoping to get it in time to actually test it in cold weather. The first time I tested it was only about 45 degrees out, and I was warm in it. I didn't have a problem with it, but I really wanted to test it down to its limit, which is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The second time I tested it, it got down to about 35 degrees, which really isn't a good test of it. I finally got a night where it's supposed to get down to about 15. My little recording thermometer said it got down to 18 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is about 7 or 8 Celsius, and I was comfortable. But I do have to qualify that statement. I was not just sleeping naked in this bag suspended in the air. It was on my deck. I had a Thermarest Neo Air X-Therm sleeping pad underneath me. I was wearing a thermal base layer. The winter coat that I wear for work, which is probably what I would be wearing if I had to deploy this bag, I laid over my legs. I also had a full ski mask on, as well as I was using a hot water bottle like I do in this video right here. But at 18 degrees, I was comfortable. My only issue was, as it got cold, my sleeping pad started to deflate simply because the air temperature was causing it to, and I had to get up sometime during the night and put some more air into it because I was bottoming out onto my deck through the sleeping pad. That was not the problem. That's not a problem with the sleeping bag. The pad was simply just getting thin because of the cold weather. I don't know what time it was when I did that. I never looked at the temperature when that happened because it really didn't affect my comfort in the sleeping bag. Never once did I wake up shivering. Never once was I sitting there just cold. Never once was I thinking, I'm going to have to bail on this because it isn't keeping up with its promise to keep me warm. Yes, I was using all the tricks that I possibly could to stay warm, but at 18 degrees, I slept very well, just sitting right outside on my deck. Slept very comfortable. Yes, there were a few times that I had a cold spot. I simply turned, and that solved the problem. So this definitely kept me warm to at least 18 degrees, and I have no doubt that it would keep me alive down to 0 degrees. Despite my limited use of this bag, and I can't speak for long-term wear and tear because I probably will only use this sleeping bag 2 or 3 times more for testing purposes, and then it's going to simply spend the rest of its life residing in my vehicle, and hopefully I never have to use it, but it's nice to know it's there. But the quality is there. The ability to keep me warm is there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a 9.8. And the only reason I'm going to ding them a little bit is because of the weight stated on the website. Wiggy says that this is a 4-pound bag. I thought that was actually less than my 30-degree Marmot bag, which comes in at 4+. So I thought that would be a great deal. It doesn't come in at 4 pounds. It's not 4 pounds. It's not 5 pounds. It is 6 pounds. This sleeping bag weighs 6 pounds. I can't take this bag and roll it up and put it on my scale. But what I could do is put it in the compression bag, weigh the whole thing, which comes in at 6.5 pounds, and then weigh just the bag, which comes in at 0.5 pound. So this bag weighs 6 pounds. So that's the only reason I'm dinging them a little bit and giving them a 9.8. I'm not going to do anything with the pillows. I'm not going to do anything with the stuff sacks. I mean, they're perfectly good pillows. I'll probably keep one in each vehicle in case I need to take a snooze in my vehicle. The bag is usable for something else, but I'm going to use the Milsurp compression sack that I got. So I'm going to be neutral on these. I'm not going to ding them. I'm not going to give a plus or minus because these are really outside of the scope of what I purchased this bag for. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 9.8. So that isn't a bad deal, especially for the price I got them at, $130 a piece. But remember, the longer you wait, the less likely you'll get a deal on this. Now, that doesn't mean Wiggy's won't have sales in the future. So if you're thinking about one, go ahead and watch their website. You might be able to snag up a good deal somewhere. And that's my review of the Wiggy sleeping bag that I got. A 0-degree bag that I said keeps me warm down to at least 18 degrees. Hopefully next winter I'll have a chance to get it down to its rated temperature to really give it a good thorough workout. So this is Backpack Cat coming at you with this trail tip. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment on my videos. Smash that bell so you can get notifications of new videos. And you be safe out there, and I'll see you out there on the trail.